Welcome back! Today is day number 3 and the prompt is fruit. I was a little bit ambitious with this one. I know I've only done 3 prompts so far, but this one took the longest out of all of them. It took about double the amount of time than yesterday's illustration did, but that's okay. I think it turned out alright. I do have a couple of things that I don't like about it, which I'll explain as we go. But I decided for this one I wanted to draw a lot of different elements. I was going to fill the entire page. So I started out sketching. So for the prompt fruit, last year and the year before I pretty much just drew a fruit themed character who had like a themed outfit and things like that, which I think is really cute. And I really enjoy designing characters and designing outfits and things like that, but I wanted to do something a little bit different this year. So I decided to draw a scene instead. So even though I like designing characters and doing cute themed characters and outfits, I really wanted to practice drawing backgrounds and things like that, and so I decided to do something a little bit ambitious for this one. Even though I'm not very practiced at drawing backgrounds, I really wanted to go in and give it a go. So thinking of the prompt fruit, I first thought what fruits I actually wanted to include, and I kept it pretty minimal. I know the previous 2 years I've tried to include like as many fruits as possible to go with the fruit theme, but I kept this one pretty simple. So I wanted the main focus of this drawing just to be the apple tree and the character who is collecting little apples from the tree, and I thought that that would be a cute little theme for this illustration. So I kept the actual fruit in the image to a minimum. The main focus is just that apple tree, and then there's also a little pot with some strawberries in the corner, which I actually really like. I thought that the strawberries turned out pretty cute. Also did another little planter with like some herbs in. I'm not really entirely sure why my brain decided that there should be herbs when I could have done a different fruit again, just to add to the fruit theme. But I think once I was in and sketching the drawing, I was just more focused on like the composition of where I was going to place everything and worried about drawing a background. I kind of forgot to really add that fruit theme in, but I think there's enough fruit in the image that technically it still fits the prompt. I did theme her outfit a little bit after fruit. It's not quite as elaborate as if I were designing a fruit themed character. I kept it pretty simple, so she kind of just looks like a person gardening, but she does have a little shirt that has apples and oranges on, and she has these orange slice earrings, which I thought would be so cool to include, and her colour palette is like orange and green, which is what I tend to think of when I think of fruit, that kind of orange, lime, lemon kind of colour scheme. But for the rest of the illustration I wanted to try out a different kind of colour scheme to what I would normally use, so I went with red and green. So red and green are contrasting colours, and I love using contrasting colours as much as possible, but I don't use red very often, and admittedly in the final illustration there isn't a lot of red, but I still think it's prominent enough that it really pops against the greens. So there's a lot of green. My biggest difficulty with this illustration was definitely the tree. I'm really not practiced in drawing trees. As you'll know if you watched my Copic sketch video, I drew an awful tree in the background. I definitely need practice with trees, but this is the best way to practice, is just to attempt it and go in and draw them. Like I said on day 1 of this challenge, I really just want to go in and really attempt things and be a little bit more ambitious with this challenge rather than keeping it simple, because I think the illustrations just come out so much more interesting and dynamic when I'm trying new things and really attempting to make them as big as possible. I really wanted to be ambitious and go in and do a full page with a full background and a character, and I don't think it turned out too badly. I think considering I'm so not practiced at drawing backgrounds and foliage and stuff, I think it turned out okay. The tree does look a bit odd in the final illustration, I will say, but I tried my best, and I think I learned a lot about drawing trees from drawing a tree, so I'm really proud of that, and maybe I'll attempt trees a few more times in this challenge later on. I don't know. I think in the end I did layer just too many colours on top. I was really trying to make it a bit more dynamic by adding darker colours where I thought the shading would go, but I think it just ended up looking far too messy, and the plan that I had of where the branches and the leaves would be got a little bit lost the more colour I was putting on the page, so I think that was part of my problem. Yeah, overall I like it. I like that I was attempting something new. I do think that it's definitely a lot more busy and elaborate than a lot of my illustrations tend to be, so I am proud of that. I know that my backgrounds need work, they need so much work, but I think this is the best way to work on them, is just to keep practicing and really go for it and attempt backgrounds whenever possible. That's all for today. If you're interested, there's a link to the full challenge playlist on screen and in the description. Subscribe if you'd like to keep up with me completing this challenge, and I'll see you tomorrow for another prompt. Take care.